Hello, dear ones. Welcome to the Dream Lab, a safe, inspiring place for you and God to dream without limits what you most desire to be, do, and have in your life right now. Every episode, I hold space for you to be irreplaceably you, to explore your unique design and discover your dreams as a reflection of God's heart for the world around you. I am your host, your guide, your encourager-in-chief, Christina B. Come on in to the Dream Lab. Hello, dear ones. Welcome to another episode of the Dream Lab podcast. I'm your host, Christina B. I just wanted to forewarn you, I've tried 5 times to start this recording, but the wind is howling outside and the rain is pouring. It's raining inside a window. I had to close my window. My neighbor's trash can was just tossed about outside. So if you hear noise, that's what's happening here on my end today. Okay, in last week's episode, I laid the biblical foundation for imagination and I defined the words imagine, dream, and vision. If you have not heard last week's episode, I strongly encourage you to go back and listen to that one first because that is the foundation for this week's episode. And in this week's episode of the Dream Lab podcast, we're going to go straight into the homework for Module 1 of the Dream Lab workshop. If you are driving, you might want to come back to this episode later when you have some time to sit down and just be still and quiet for a little while and take some notes. Get into a comfortable position with your feet planted on the floor below you. Close your eyes and I want you to just take a really deep cathartic breath in. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 4, 3, 2, 1. And as you breathe in again, I just want you to envision God with you right there, wherever you are. Invite God into this process with you. And each time you exhale, I want you to feel your body relax. Start at the top of your head and just envision every muscle in your head and in your face and in your neck relaxing as you exhale. And as you exhale again, envision all of the muscles in your shoulders and back just relaxing. Just release any tension that you might be holding there. Take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, anchor yourself in this present moment. Feel the chair underneath you. Feel the floor underneath your feet. Release any worry and tension as you just listen to the sound of my voice. And then God said, "Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all of the creatures that move along the ground." So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. God saw all that he had made, and it was very good. And there was evening and there was morning, the 6th day. And then God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being. In the beginning, God created. In the beginning, God created you. Woven into the very fabric of your being is the DNA of the true and living uncreated God who created all things. Before the foundations of the earth were laid, you existed with and in perfect love and bore the image of your Maker to love and to be loved. Before God formed you and wove you together in your mother's womb, and before a single hair grew on your head, God knew you. Before even one of your days on this earth came to be, God set you apart, and God knew you, and you knew God. Jeremiah 1:5 says, Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, and before you were born, I consecrated you. You were created in the image of your Creator. Create in the Strong's 1254 is bara, which means to create, shape, form, fashion, or to create new conditions and circumstances, to create transformations, to create something new, to create miracles. Take one more deep breath in for me. And as you exhale slowly, I want you to open your eyes. We're going to transition now to a series of questions designed to help you look back over your past. Before we look ahead into the future, it's helpful to look back and see how far you've come. And this exercise is designed to help you remember the people and the circumstances and the things that you loved and enjoyed, your accomplishments, life events, gifts, talents, and other things that shape who you are today. This exercise is not intended to stir up old failures or traumas. And in the course of answering these questions, if any old painful memories resurface, just take a moment to explore those with God. Invite God into the emotion or the memory and ask, is there something that you want me to know about this? And if you don't hear anything, just keep going. I want you to, as you journal the answers to these questions, I would really prefer if you journaled the answers with a pen and paper. So if you have a notebook laying around, just, grab that, and even some colored pens and pencils, that would be great. Journaling with your hand has a ton of benefits that I don't think a lot of us realize. First of all, it has a calming effect, and you can Google all of this. This is very well established. Journaling with your hand coordinates the right and left hemispheres of your brain. It boosts cognitive skills. It inspires more creativity. It improves memory. It uses more of your brain, and it connects you to your heart and to your emotions. And more importantly, I think in today's world of speed and internet and everything moving so fast, journaling with your hand literally forces you to slow down. So that would be my desire for you, is if you would journal with your hand in a notebook, go old school. I think you're going to get a lot more benefit out of this than if you journaled while typing. Okay, so here are the instructions for the homework today. As we look back over your childhood, adolescence, and young adulthood, I want you to ponder each question. And I'm actually going to read these questions out loud so you can write them down. Write down the first things that come to your mind. Any phrases, bullet points, sentences. You don't have to write like in prose unless you desire to. Just write the first thing that comes to your mind. Be as thorough as you can and as detailed as you can without taking a ton of time. And I want you to get comfortable asking why, because the why reveals wonderful truths that if you didn't ask it, you would never have the benefit of knowing. So, like, for example, one of my favorite books when I was a kid was The Boxcar Children by Gertrude Chandler Warner. I have the sweetest, most vivid memories of my second grade teacher, Mrs. Eisenberg, gathering us all around on the floor around her feet as she read us a couple of chapters in this book every day. Well, that book is one of my favorites because when I ask the why, it's because it's about a family. There are the kids in the book. Somehow, I don't know what happened, but they were abandoned by their parents and they were living in a boxcar. And the older children took care of the younger children and looked after them. But they stayed together. And then their grandfather found them and adopted them. So to me, that book is really powerful and meaningful because the family stayed together and the older brothers and sisters took care of the younger ones. That ministered to me deeply. And if I hadn't stopped to ask the why, it would just be, oh, my favorite book is, The Boxcar Children. So you get the idea. I want you, as you journal, I want you to make note of any emotions that are coming up for you. Are you smiling as you write the answers? Do you feel sad as you write? Do you feel like, do you chuckle? Do you laugh? What thoughts are popping into your mind as you write the answers to these questions? Do you feel anything in your body? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Do you feel butterflies in your belly? Do you feel tightness in your chest, a lump in your throat? Just describe what you feel. And try to answer each question. If an answer doesn't come quickly, skip that question for now, but come back to it later because often the answers come as you go back and revisit the questions. What gifts, talents, and skills run in your family on your mother's side and on your father's side? What were your favorite games and playtime activities as a child and why? What about as an adolescent? What were your favorite games and playtime activities? What subjects did you love in school and why? What skills, abilities, and qualities did your parents, teachers, and friends affirm in you and why? What books, movies, and TV shows impacted you and why? What was your favorite toy and why? What could you do for hours without stopping? What did you love about it and why? What did you spend your time and energy doing and why? Did you play sports? Were you into art? Did you take music lessons? What was your favorite Christmas or birthday present and why? Describe how it was given to you. What was your favorite season of the year and why? Do you have a favorite holiday like Christmas, Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, New Year's, and why? Describe the first time you experienced God in a personal way and how did that change you? When you were growing up, what were you taught to think and believe about your future? When you were growing up, what were you taught to think and believe about money and wealth? What made you angry or frustrated and why? What brought you joy and why? What was your greatest fear and why? Who impacted you in a significant way, and why do you think he or she impacted you the way they did? What was your favorite food or meal and why? Describe 3 of your happiest life memories and why you chose them. Is there a common theme among them? Describe 3 of your most favorite school memories and why you chose them. Is there a common theme among them? What was your greatest achievement as a child or adolescent, and why are you so proud of it? Did you take family vacations? If so, where? And what was your favorite one and why? What challenges did you face and how did you overcome them? Describe a source of emotional pain or adversity you faced as a child or adolescent. What strengths did you develop as a result? How did facing this adversity help you become more resilient? And how might these things inform or define your purpose in life? If possible, look at an old candid family photo of yourself, not portraits like school pictures or anything that was posed, but look at a photo of when you were playing or doing something fun. Describe the emotion of that photo. And what might this photo of you with the activity and the emotion reveal about your unique design or desires? If you were to write the story of your childhood, what themes would the story have and why? For example, it could be the hero's journey, redemption, action and adventure, triumph, sitcom, good versus evil, spiritual awakening, mystery, nostalgia, coming of age, or some other theme. It doesn't have to fit into one of those categories. If there's another one that I didn't mention, go ahead and use that. And the last question is, draw a timeline of your life from birth to today and add significant life events and memories to this timelines, like births, deaths in the family, any challenges, accomplishments, favorite memories, graduating from college, getting married, those kinds of things. And how and why did those things shape who you are today? That journaling exercise should take you a pretty big chunk of time, and you can split it up. Like after you write down all of the questions, you can split that up into, a couple of evenings throughout the week or whenever is the best time for you. And once you're all done, I want you to go back and reread your answers. What stands out to you? Did any of your answers surprise you? Did you experience any emotions as you wrote? And in particular, I think what I outlined at the beginning of the podcast in episode number 1 or number 2, I think, is that when I did this exercise for the first time, I noticed themes amongst my answers. So for you, as you look back over your answers to these questions, what are the recurring emotions that coincide with particular answers? Like, for example, when I wrote about my family, I felt happy. Or when I wrote answers about past jobs, I felt, frustrated or what have you. And then after you sort of go back through all of your answers, I want you to write down the top 3 themes that you see. And if you go back and listen to the beginning of the podcast, the very first or second episode, I explain what those were for me and how you might be able to see the themes in your own answers. So that is this episode for this week. This is going to be a short one. And thankfully, the internet and the power held up. So I think we're still recording. That's good. If this episode really benefits you, if it really helps you, please leave me a review and a rating. And please consider forwarding this episode to someone that you think might benefit from it as well. And until next time, bye for now.